We're going to talk about trapping and shit hit the fan. All right, dudes. I think that this is a skill that a lot of preppers and survivalists totally overlook. Totally overlook it, man. They're like, I got my fishing reel and my tackle, right? And I'm going to hunt. That's their plan. Okay. But the goal is to be as efficient as we possibly can. All right. The end of the world as we know it. If it comes our way, man, every calorie you spend matters. Right? You want to be as efficient as possible with every calorie. That's how you make it through. All right. And so learning to trap is a very important skill because those traps are working while you're doing something else. All you have is the setup time, right? And the time it takes to check them. All right, so let's get into it. And we're going to focus on the 80-20 rule when it comes to trapping. Those of you that have been with the channel, you know how I am, right? 20% of what you do produces 80% of the results. So we're going to look at trapping, and we're going to focus on this 20%. That's it, okay? And it's going to be snaring and trapping fish. All right? So let's get into snaring because, dudes, there's all kinds of trapping out there that you can do, right? You can trap fur-bearing animals. And if you had to, in SHTF, you're going to eat a coyote? Hell yeah, you're going to eat a coyote if you had to, right? Might be the best damn thing you've ever had, too, if you're starving your ass off, right? Hunger's the best chef. Okay, but we're going to focus on rabbits. And there's a number of reasons, okay? So, for one, why rabbits over squirrels, right? Because you can snare both easily. Rabbits are everywhere. They're all over the place. Okay, they're out in these big fields behind me, and there's not really any squirrels out there. There's some, but there's not as many, okay? So, rabbits are all over. They're everywhere. It's very easy to set up snares for rabbits. It's a little more difficult snaring squirrels, all right? But rabbits are cake, man. You're just looking for, their little game pass that they take, right? You funnel them in, and you set your snare up right there. All you need is a stick and an anchor point, okay, which you can either make an anchor point or you can use some sagebrush that's nearby or the bottom of a small tree, whatever it is. Super easy to do, okay? And for those of you that have never spent time working on this skill, dudes, anytime you get into anything new, okay, the learning curve is like this, all right? So go practice the skill. Go do it. Go do some camping for a few nights and get out there day one, get your snare set up, check them morning and night, and learn how to catch game because, boy, if you have that skill and it all goes down, you are going to be thanking me. All right? So, we're focusing on rabbits, right? The gear required to snare is extremely lightweight. I weighed a dozen 36-inch snares in my snares versus 22 LR for SHTF video. Go watch that video. It's not that long. All right? But they don't weigh hardly anything, dudes. They're cheap. You can buy a dozen 36-inch snares on eBay for 18 bucks. And I believe that was free shipping on top of it. All right? We're talking aircraft cable snares. Guys, generally they're going to be 24 inches or 36 inches in length. The longer ones give you a little more options when it comes to setup. Okay? Another thing that's great about snares is once you've used these pre-made ones, it is very easy to learn how to make your own snares out of solid copper wire. Okay? And guys, solid copper wire is freaking everywhere. Let's say it's shit hit the fan, right? And you lose your kit for whatever reason. It's not going to be that hard to scrounge up some more copper wire. It's in vehicles, it's in buildings. We're not talking about the thin braided stuff either. That doesn't work. All right? It's got to be thicker and it's got to be single strands. So even if you were trying to adapt some thicker braided copper wire, you can do it as long as you smoothed it all out so it's not, all curly cueing it up. All right, you could make it work if you had to. All right, and you'll figure this out if you just buy some of these pre-made ones and practice this skill. All right, so not a big investment in time. We're talking about checking them morning, checking them night. You basically set up your snares where the rabbit trails are, and you go check them, you reset them, and you're clubbing bunnies and cleaning them up by the creek. Okay, so that frees you up for the rest of the day, basically, to focus on other things you need to get done. All right. What else should I say about them? I think that's it on snares. I'm probably forgetting some stuff. Just, shooting from the hip, like most of the time, dudes. I have no notes. Okay, just throwing it out there. Let's get into fish trapping. All right. It's not going to take as much time for us to cover this topic. Fish trapping is a great skill to learn, dudes. It's basically the same thing. It's the same idea, right? You have fish traps. You go find good places to put them, right? Eddies are a great place, right? And, places where the water is slowed down quite a bit. You have some bait in them, and you tie them to the freaking bank somehow. Out they go, right? You want to make sure the water's not moving so quickly it's going to put pressure on the line that holds them out there. And that's it. You go walk the bank in the morning and in the evening before, the sun goes down. See if you have any fish. If you need to, you freshen up the bait and the traps. And guess what? If you listen to me and you've been snaring rabbits, right, you got rabbit guts that you can throw in those traps, okay? And rabbit carcasses, especially if you're in a place with a lot of crayfish, dudes, man, they will be all over those guts, okay? But there's plenty of bottom feeding fish that'll be all over it as well. You are looking at more of an investment, capital-wise, to get into man-made fish traps or traps you can, slightly make a few changes to and convert to fish traps, like crayfish traps, okay? But you can also make fish traps out of man-made materials. Natural materials. You can make them out of man-made materials as well yourself. I'm sure there's plenty of plans online and probably all over YouTube as well. Okay? Making them out of natural materials is more time consuming. All right? But that's also an amazing skill to have, dudes. And just like snaring, once you get your fish traps done, you get them out there, they're working for you all day and all night without you being there. And if you do this right, you could have rabbit meat, maybe even squirrel meat, and fish meat every day. And that's efficient. All right, dudes? That's efficient. So trapping, and specifically snaring and fish traps, dudes. All right? That's it, man. I don't need to keep you on here any longer than that. I think I made my point, okay? So like, share, subscribe the video. Check out my Patreon link in the description. Come support the channel, guys. Help me take it to the next level. I have a whole bunch of extra content on there, and I've decided I'm going to do some bigger, longer videos just for patrons. I have put plenty of short ones on there with tips and tricks and stuff like that and some fun stuff. But I'm gonna make some bigger videos for my freaking team on there. All right, that's it. Comments. All right, what do you think? What did I miss? All right, get out there, start practicing it. Get back here. Tell us in the comments how it went. All right. Even hit us up if you're having some difficulty. Okay? That's it, dudes. See y'all on the next one.